Hi everyone and welcome to Valley View Living. My name is Megan. I'm a mum to six living out in the country of New South Wales, Australia, and this is where I share all kinds of homemaking, homesteading, all things home here on my channel. We are trying to grow as much food as we can, currently harvesting our own beef and pork, eggs from our chickens, seasonal fresh milk when our cows are in milk, and learning how to grow a veggie patch this year as well. So today is a beautiful sunny spring morning. I'm going to get my family started with a good high protein, easy on the budget meal to feed everybody.
It's okay.
What I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to start with a cup of tea, of course, first. Can you get going in the morning without a hot drink? Because I really do find that part of my routine, right? Even on hot summer mornings, I just want that cup of tea. Is it the ritual? It's just part of our routine and makes us feel like in a tiny way we're putting ourselves first, maybe? So in the morning, I think on this morning I'm having a dandelion root tea, which I do have some tea bags left of, so I'm just going to use them up. And it's nice, it's kind of coffee-esque, for anyone else who has had to quit caffeine for health or other reasons. It's nice to have a sort of roasty, herbaceous start to the day. Anyway, something that just tastes a little like get up and go juice. So I know that the breakfast that I've planned is going to take me a little while to put together. I've got to bake something and fry something. So I'm going to cut up a plate of apples first just to keep my very little people, the youngest ones, satisfied and content while I'm working in the kitchen. So I'm going to whip up a big pan of Dutch Baby pancakes. And I love pancakes. I think pancakes must be one of my true guilty pleasures, something that I have enjoyed from childhood onwards, just covered in lashings of butter. That's the way that I like pancakes. I don't need a whole bunch of toppings, just butter does it for me. But when you need to feed a crowd, standing at a hot pan it's going to take me at least half an hour if I want to stand and flip enough pancakes for 8 people this morning. So I really do love this busy large family hack of puff pancakes, of Dutch Baby pancakes. This recipe is so simple as well. I don't need to look up a recipe. I can just store this one in my brain, even a brain like mine that is going in 50 different directions on any given moment. I can still remember this recipe, which is great. It's also quite high protein and nutritious. So it's going to keep kids, even kids who are only going to eat the pancake this morning, it's going to keep them pretty happy and ticking over for a good few hours. So it is 6 whole eggs, 1 cup of your choice of flour. I am using a spelt flour on this morning. 1 cup of whole milk, the best milk that you have, and the coconut sugar that I left out. So any type of sweetener or sugar. I think I've tried this with liquid sweeteners like maple or honey. It did not work as well. So I stick to the granulated sugar, and I'm just adding probably, I don't know, maybe a few tablespoons of coconut sugar to this family-sized serve. A little bit of vanilla essence and a pinch of salt. Now, of course, you want to get a couple of tablespoons of butter sizzling in your hot pan first. So you're going to preheat that in your oven for a good 10 minutes on a high heat. I cook this at about 220. Then I'm going to pour the batter into the sizzling butter and pop it all back into the oven while I move on with the rest of our breakfast. Now, I'm going to do some burger patties this morning because I had some defrosted mince. You could just as easily serve another fried egg if you wanted more protein on the side of this puff pancake. But the pancakes are pretty eggy already. There's 6 eggs in there. So I'm going to go with a side of burger patty. Super simple. All I do is 100% beef mince. This is our home raised beef here. I did get a lot back as mince so that it would be easy and versatile for me to use at home. I just squeeze nice flat patties so that I actually enjoy the texture better this way. I think they taste better, but also they cook really fast as well. So my 500 grams there is stretching to 8 patties, which is going to feed everybody. And you can see 20 minutes later what comes out of the oven, much to the excitement and the oohs and the ahs of the young children who can see this come out and see it start puffing up in the oven. And then I've got people who like the puffy bits and people who like the flatter bits. And I'm just going to cut this up and serve everyone a slice. And yes, I absolutely had one as well. So it is nice. It is a good way to get eggs into maybe egg picky kids, of which I have a couple. And it also feels like something different and interesting and special, even though it is just milk and eggs and flour. Super easy and super frugal as well. This goes a far way and feeds a crowd. So it is definitely an exciting time of year owning our cows because they are both pregnant. One of them, our heifer, well, she's a heifer. She has not calved before, but she's definitely ready. She looks healthy and fit and ready. And it is just exciting. We're just waiting for these calves to arrive. How lucky are we to have weak fencing and neighbors with bulls? These bulls are very well behaved, happy. I think they're actually low-line Angus, which means that they are a smaller stature, which has made it easy for our girls. And hopefully it will make it an easy, straightforward calving for them as well. So yeah, 2 new cows coming our way. I don't know, will we get a heifer? Will we get a bull calf? Will we get, both, either? I don't know. It is exciting also to think, what will the calves look like? I'm sure they will be absolutely adorable. And it is wonderful on a farm to be approaching this time when you can wait for new babies to arrive. It's also, it's just the spring season is just awakening and seeing the grass starting to grow and the days getting longer and we're having little bits of rainfall here and there. It's just a relief, really, to get through the winter and not have to be so reliant on hay and grain to get our animals through. So then straight back into the house after a little outside time. And this is a day when my older kids were off doing some social things with friends. So I am on top of taking care of the dishes today, which is totally fine. We all work as a team, which means on other days they'll be handling the kitchen and someone else might be cooking as well. So just today is my day and I'm going to get in there and get it done. This is a super frugal, quick and easy, yet delicious and totally soul-nourishing meal. If you love potatoes and chicken broth like I do, you will love just a simple potato soup. And this potato soup can be called a chowder as well, which is just adding cream or milk to the soup. And you could also do things like fry up some ham or some bacon, some croutons to serve on top or on the side of the soup. Today I'm going to keep it super simple. All I'm going to do is peel up 1 kilogram or 2 of potatoes, dice up a whole brown onion. I have a couple of cans of tinned corn kernels here. I also love using fresh corn when we have corn on the cob. You just shear that off the sides of the cob and sweat it down in the butter with the potato and onion as well. It has so much more flavour than tinned. After I have sweat those veggies down, I just add some garlic. At the moment, I'm just using dried garlic. And then I'm going to top with some beautiful chicken broth. Now, sometimes I'm using my chicken broth out of a packet, and this day, because we've invested in some quality chickens over the past month, I'm using chicken broth from roasting those chickens and keeping the stock afterwards. So we're going to just pour all of that chicken broth on top and let it simmer, and it doesn't take long. 15-20 minutes later, the potatoes were soft, which means I didn't really have to do any planning or prep or work ahead for this lunch. The whole meal was ready in definitely less than half an hour and less than 5 or 10 minutes of actual cooking, which is just the kind of lunch I want to have on a busy school and work day. So I feel pleased with the slow and steady approach with our veggie patch at the moment. I've just been ensuring that I get out there for even 10 or 15 minutes a day in the afternoon. And of course, having that bit of extra sunlight in the day helps so much with that. But while I'm out there, I'm just trying to pull out some weeds here and there, have a think about what I want to do in certain sections. I've planted up a few meters of the veggie beds now. We've got lots of carrots in there. I've planted some herbs like dill and coriander, maybe more parsley, and we have our garlic growing away in there. We do actually have some asparagus crowns in our veggie bed that have been there for a few years. This year, because the veggie patch was quite neglected going into winter, while we were juggling milking our cows and managing our pigs and other things on the property, we haven't actually been able to harvest much asparagus this season. So I guess because I wasn't out there and clearing the old asparagus from the last season as it seeded and fell over, maybe that's why I haven't gotten a very good crop this year. I know that last spring we had a good 10 to 20 spears of asparagus, which in a very small space is not bad growth. I know that asparagus itself does not give much as a plant. But this year I've only found 3 lonely little spears, which of course we brought in and we still pan fried them up, and I shared them with my one child who loves asparagus. But I would love to see a little more coming up next year, so fingers crossed with that. We also have kids interested in growing strawberries this season, but I feel like an utter noob with berries. I have never really successfully grown berries at home. The one time I managed to get my strawberries to fruit and look plump and delicious, they were filled with millipedes, which was kind of horrifying. So if you have any berry growing tips for me, or when or how I should even get strawberries into the veggie patch, or where to grow them, I would really love those tips. So I'm so happy with this lunch, even though it feels so simple. Chicken broth, potatoes, corn, garlic, and an onion. I mean, it couldn't be much more frugal than that. And then I'm going to top mine with sour cream and plenty of herbs out of the garden, parsley and some spring onion. And of course, the kids are going to have this with plenty of sourdough toast on the side with lots of butter, as always. Thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate your company. If you've enjoyed my content, please feel free to like or comment or subscribe, and that way I'll see you next time. Bye.